spɔɾ Lisboa. Benfica ComC OM MHIH, commonly known as Benfica, or simply as SLB, is a Portuguese multi-sport club based in Lisbon, Portugal, which is best known for its professional football team. Founded on February 28, 1904, Benfica is one of the big three clubs in Portugal. It is the most supported Portuguese club and has one of the largest fan bases in the world. Benfica has the most members of any football club in the world and is the 26th richest football club in terms of revenue, with an annual turnover of $109.2 million. It is evaluated as the 38th most valuable football brand in the world. The club's motto is E pluribus unum, and its official anthem is Ser Benfiquista. The team is nicknamed Águias or Encarnados, while its supporters are called Benfiquistas. Benfica is the most successful Portuguese club with 70 domestic titles, having 72 titles overall, and is the only club to have won all Portuguese competitions. It is the current Portuguese football champion and has won a record of 33 Primeira Liga titles, a record of 25 Tour Section de Portugal, a record of 10 doubles, a record of 5 Tour Section da Liga, 4 Superta Section Carcendido de Oliveira and 3 Campeonato de Portugal. In 2014, Benfica achieved an unprecedented treble of Primeira Liga, Tour Section de Portugal and Tour Section da Liga. It is the only club to have won the double of Primeira Liga and Tour Section da Liga, and to have conquered the Tour Section da Liga without conceding a goal. Benfica was the first club in the history of the Primeira Liga to have completed an entire 30-game season unbeaten, in 1972 Euro 73 Euro achieving the largest difference ever between champions and runners-up in a 2 points per win Sistema Euro, and was also the first to do it twice, in 1977 Euro 78. Benfica holds the record of 56 matches without a defeat in Portuguese League, between 1976 Euro 77 and 1978 Euro 79. Benfica was one of the founding members of Primeira Liga in 1933, and is one of 3 clubs which have never been relegated from the top flight of Portuguese football, along with its long-standing rivals Sporting and Porto. Internationally, Benfica holds the European record of most consecutive wins in domestic league and is the only Portuguese club to have won 2 European Champion Clubs Cup consecutively, the 1960 Euro 61 European Cup and the 1961 Euro 62 European Cup. In addition, it was runner-up in the 1961 Intercontinental Cup, 1962 Intercontinental Cup, 1962 Euro 63 European Cup, 1964 Euro 65 European Cup, 1967 Euro 68 European Cup, 1982 Euro 83 UEFA Cup, 1987 Euro 88 European Cup, 1989 Euro 90 European Cup, 2012 Euro 13 UEFA Europa League and 2013 Euro 14 UEFA Europa League. Benfica has reached 10 European finals, which ranks 7th all-time among UEFA clubs and is also a Portuguese record. In 2000, it was ranked 12th in FIFA Club of the Century Award. In 2009, it was ranked 9th in Europe's Club of the Century by IFFHS. In January 2014, it was ranked 10th in World Club Ranking by IFFHS. Benfica is ranked 5th in UEFA Club Rankings, which is the best position ever obtained by a Portuguese club. History, early years. On February 28, 1904, a group of former students from the Real Casa de Lisboa and members of Associa Ppicavolt do Ba met at the back of the Farmácia Franco, located at Rua de Bila copyright M with the goal of forming a social and cultural football club that would be called spɔɾ Lisboa. There were a total of 24 people who attended the meeting, including the 18-years-old co-founder and future soul of the club, Cosme de Maia Poundo. During the meeting, José Copyright Rosa Rodrigues was appointed as the club's first president, along with Daniel Brito as secretary and Manuel Goulade as treasurer. In this historic meeting it was defined that the colors of the club would be red and white, and the crest composed of an eagle, and the motto E pluribus unum. Despite important victories in the first few years, the club suffered due to poor operating conditions, namely the football field terras do desembargador. As a result, In 1907, 8 players from the football team joined the then more wealthy Sporting, located across the city at Campo Grande. This major event started the rivalry between the two clubs. On September 13, 1908, Sport Lisboa acquired by mutual agreement the Grupo Sport Benfica and changed its name to Sport Lisboa Benfica. Despite the merger of the two clubs, they continued their respective club operations. For Sport Lisboa they maintained the football team, the red and white shirt colours, the eagle as the symbol and e pluribus unum as the motto. For Grupo Sport Benfica they maintained the football field Campo da Figueira, the main directors in the club's house. Under mutual agreement, both clubs determined that the foundation date of the newly formed Clube Sport Lisboa Benfica should coincide with the foundation date of Sport Lisboa, given that it was the most recognized club of the two in the merger and it was already quite popular in Lisbon due to its football merits. In regard to the new club's logo, a cycling wheel was added to the crest of Sport Lisboa to represent the most important sport of Grupo Sport Benfica. As for the new club's name, Benfica from Grupo Sport Benfica was merged with Sport Lisboa to form Sport Lisboa Benfica, which remains the formal full name. The club moved from the Bila Copyright M area of Lisbon to the present-day Benfica area, which is a neighbourhood located in the northern part of the city. Furthermore, the two entities of the new club had simultaneous associates which helped to stabilise operations and later increased the success of the merger. However, in the beginning, problems with the club's rented football field remained. In 1913, Benfica moved to Campo de Sete Rios, but 4 years later the club was forced to move to Campo de Benfica due to a high rent. In 1925, Benfica built the Estádio das Amoreiras and this was the place where Benfica won its first national titles. Meanwhile, Benfica already had created the sections of roller hockey, field hockey, rugby, basketball, handball, billiards and volleyball. The Primeira Liga began in 1934 and, after losing the first edition, Benfica won the next 3 in a row, after winning 10 Campeonato de Lisboa. In 1940, Benfica won its first tour section de Portugal. In 1941, Benfica moved to Estádio do Campo Grande. In cycling, it's worth to mention the importance of José Copyright Maria Nicolao, winner of Volta a Portugal in 1931 and 1934, who spread admiration for the club in the whole country at a time when television did not exist and there were few newspapers. Through the 1940s, Benfica won 3 Primeira Liga, in 1941 a Euro 42, 1942 a Euro 43 and 1944 a Euro 45, and won 4 Tour Section de Portugal in 1940, 1943, 1944 and 1948. Janos Beeri achieved the first double for the club in 1943. Rise to dominance. Benfica's first major international football success happened in 1950 when they won the Latin Cup, the predecessor of the European Cup, defeating Bordeaux at the Estádio Nacional, in Lisbon, with Ted Smith as manager. They reached another final of this competition in 1957 but lost to Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabéu copyright U. With Joaquim Ferreira Bogolo elected as president in 1952 and the arrival of manager Otto Glacubria in 1954, Benfica became more modernized and professional, and moved into the Estádio da Luz with an initial capacity of 40,000 spectators. Later expanded to 70,000 in 1960. During the 1950s, Benfica won 3 Primeira Liga and 6 Tour Section de Portugal, achieving the second double in 1955 and the third one in 1957. In addition to these successes, Benfica was able to end the decade with the basic foundations in place, enabling the club to enter the 1960s as one of the best teams in European football. Golden Age. Led by manager bar copyright La Gutman, Benfica was the first team to break Real Madrid's dominance in European Champion Clubs Cup by winning 2 consecutive European Cups, the first against Barcelona in 1961 at the Wankdorf Stadium and the second one against Real Madrid in 1962 at the Olympic Stadium. Later on, Benfica reached another 3 European Cup finals but lost them to Milan in 1963 at the Wembley Stadium, to Internazionale in 1965 at the San Siro, and to Manchester United in 1968 again at the Wembley Stadium. Many of Benfica's successes in this decade were achieved with all-time football great user copyright bio, captain Mario Coluna, and other notable players. The 1960s were the best period of the club's history, in which Benfica won 8 Primeira Liga, 3 Tour Section de Portugal, and 2 European Champions Cup. The 4th double was achieved in 1964 with Lajos Kiesler and the 5th one in 1969 with Otto Glacubed Ria. On December 5, 1966, the club's new hydro-massage bath short-circuited with 7 players immersed. Luciano Jorge Fernandes was electrocuted before Jaime Graça could save himself and the others. The team played the rest of that season in black. In 1968, Benfica was elected the European Team of the Year by France Football. Dominance and late decline. During the 1970s, the team faded slightly from the European scene, but remained the main force of Portuguese football, winning 6 Primeira Liga and 2 Tour Section de Portugal. Jimmy Hagan led the club to 3 Primeira Liga and 1 Tour Section de Portugal between 1970 and 1973, achieving the club's 6th double in 1972. Benfica also attracted Europe-wide attention when the team reached the semi-finals of the European Champions Cup, where the team was only narrowly defeated 1-0 on aggregate by Ajax of Johan Cruyff. In 1972 Euro 73, Benfica became the first club in Portugal to last a whole season without defeat and won 28 matches Euro 23 consecutively Euro out of 30, and drew 2. In that year, user copyright bio also became Europe's top scorer with 40 goals, in what was his penultimate season as a Benfica player. The team scored 101 goals, breaking the 100 goals mark for the second time in its history, and conceded 13 goals. In the late 1970s, early 1980s, the club had some corporate management problems but the football team managed to keep up to its high standards again. In 1981, Lajos Baracubed secured the 7th double for Benfica by winning the Primeira Liga and the Tour Section de Portugal. Later, under the guidance of Sven Ran Eriksson, the club won 2 consecutive Primeira Liga in 1983 and 1984, 1 Tour Section de Portugal, achieving the 8th double, and reached the final of the UEFA Cup in 1983 but lost on aggregate score to Anderlecht. Following the completion of improvements to the football stadium, the board of Benfica decided to open the 3rd level of the Estádio da Luz, which transformed it into the biggest football stadium in Europe and 3rd largest in the world, with a seating capacity of 120,000 spectators. In 1986 Euro 87, John Altmore won the Primeira Liga and Tour Section de Portugal, obtaining the 9th double for Benfica. During the period from 1988 to 1994, Benfica made a huge financial investment in an effort to win another European Cup, reaching 2 European Cup finals in 1988 and 1990, but lost to PSV and Milan respectively. During this period, Benfica won 3 Primeira Liga and 1 Tour Section de Portugal. Crisis. Financial trouble dating back to the 1980s when Benfica completed the 3rd tier of the Estádio da Luz and a long-time dream of making Benfica again European champion started to deteriorate the club finances. The rampant spending and a questionable signing policy which allowed for squads composed of well over 30 players, further aggravating the problem. Consequently, the period from 1994 through 2003 was arguably the darkest in the history of Benfica. During this time, Benfica only won 1 Tour Section de Portugal in 1996 and had its lowest Primeira Liga finishing positions, such as 6th in 2000 Euro 01 and 4th in 2001 Euro 02. Benfica entered in default during the João Azevedo term of club presidency which further damaged the club finances and credibility, and nearly every year saw the hire of 2 or more managers. Between 1994 and 2002, 11 managers shared the seat, Mario Wilson, 3 times no less. It was during this period that Benfica paid a $13 million for Simão Sabrosa, smashing the Portuguese transfer record, and decided to build the new Estádio da Luz on September 28, 2001, which would eventually cost a $162 million. rebuilding years. In 2003 a Euro 04 season, with new president Luís Filipe Vieira and new manager José copyright Antonio Camacho, Benfica won its 24th tour section de Portugal, defeating José copyright Mourinho's Porto in the final. In 2004 a Euro 05, Benfica won its 31st Portuguese league with Giovanni Trapattoni as manager. 2004 was marked by the death of the Hungarian player ഃfikhet's spɔɾ copyrighter during a match against ഃfikhet's Rio de Guimara Pounders at the Estádio de Afonso Henriques. The wake was held at the same stadium and then Benfica's president and the entire squad travelled to Hungary for the players' burial. In 2005 a Euro 06, Benfica won its 4th Supertour section against ഃfikhet's Rio de Setúbal. In Europe, Benfica managed to reach the quarter-finals of Champions League, defeating Manchester United 2-1 in the decisive group stage encounter, and then overcoming the European champions Liverpool 3-0 on aggregate. However, Benfica lost in the quarter-finals to the eventual Champions League winners Barcelona by an aggregate of 2-0, both goals coming during the second leg at Camp Nou. In 2006 a Euro 07, Benfica found themselves again facing Manchester United in a decisive Champions League group match in which the winner would advance. However, this time it was Manchester United who prevailed, gaining revenge in a 3-1 win. On August 20, 2007, manager Camacho returned to Benfica on a 2-year contract, following the sacking of Fernando Santos after one match in the Primeira Liga, at a time when Benfica was facing a vital Champions League qualifying match against Copenhagen. A successful move since Benfica guaranteed a place in the Champions League after defeating Copenhagen 1-0, but then exited the competition at the group stage. The team was put into UEFA Cup where they lost to Getafe. Camacho resigned on March 9, 2008, then with interim manager Fernando Chalana the club failed to gain a top 3 finish in the league, placing the team in the UEFA Cup. On May 22, 2008, former Valencia manager Quique Flores was appointed as Benfica's new manager where he won the club's first tour section da Liga defeating Sporting. The club was third in Primeira Liga, getting a place in the Europa League. On June 8, 2009, Quique Flores resigned as manager after agreeing to a friendly contractual termination. On June 17, he was replaced by former Braga manager Jorge Jesus. Recent years. In 2009 a Euro 10 season, Benfica had the highest average home attendance of 50,033 and the highest mark was 58,659 against Porto, a match won by Benfica 1-0. On March 21, 2010, Benfica beat Porto 3-0 in the tour section da Liga final and won its second consecutive trophy. In Europe, Benfica was drawn against Liverpool in the quarter-finals of the Europa League. At the Estádio da Luz, Benfica defeated Liverpool 2-1 but was eliminated after a 4-1 defeat at Anfield. On May 9, 2010, Benfica won its final league match against Rio Ave and became champion of the 2009 Euro 10 Primeira Liga, conquering its 32nd Primeira Liga title and securing a direct entry into the 2010 Euro 11 UEFA Champions League. Oscar Cardoso finished top scorer of the Primeira Liga with 26 goals. In 2010 Euro 11, after participating in the Champions League, Benfica moved to Europa League and progressed to its first European semi-final in 18 years. The team lost on the away goals rule after a 2-2 result against Braga. On April 23, 2011, Benfica won the tour section da Liga final against Poor Section Os de Ferreira, clinching its third consecutive title in this competition. The club finished second in Primeira Liga. In 2012, Benfica was ranked 8th in World Club ranking by IFFHS. In 2011 Euro 12, Benfica reached the quarter-finals of the Champions League, being eliminated by eventual winners Chelsea. Won its 4th consecutive tour section da Liga, and was second in Primeira Liga qualifying directly to the 2012 Euro 13 UEFA Champions League. Oscar Cardoso was the top scorer of Primeira Liga for the second time, with 20 goals. In 2012 Euro 13, Benfica returned to a European final. After coming third in its Champions League group, Benfica reached the final of the Europa League but lost 2-1 to the 2012 European champions Chelsea. It was the 9th European final overall for Benfica and the first since the 1990 European Cup final. Domestically, Benfica was second in Primeira Liga despite leading until the penultimate day. They reached the semi-finals of the Tour section da Liga but lost in penalty shootout against the eventual winners Braga. They reached the final of the Tour section da Portugal but suffered a defeat against Vitória Rio de Guimarães pounders by an offside goal. Benfica had the highest average attendance of Primeira Liga. The 2013 Euro 14 season was one of the best in the club's history as Benfica conquered its 33rd champion title, won its 5th Tour section da Liga without conceding any goal, reached a Europa League final for a second consecutive time, without any defeat, and won its 25th Tour section da Portugal, achieving the 10th Portuguese double. On May 18, 2014, Jorge Jesus achieved an historic treble for Benfica and a unique one in Portuguese football. Benfica completed the season unbeaten at home in all 5 competitions, and had the best defence of all European leagues with 18 goals conceded. Lima was the top goal scorer with 21 goals. In terms of average home attendance, the club improved the previous number to 43,613. The 2014 Euro 15 season started on July 3, 2014. Benfica will play the Tour section da Honra de Lisboa, the user copyright Bio Cup and the Emirates Cup before playing its first official match, the Superta section Car Sentido de Oliveira. Support. The supporters of Benfica are known as Benfiquistas. They call the club O Glorioso, hence the popular chant Glorioso SLB. Due to the success and popularity of its football team and other sports such as athletics, basketball, cycling, futsal, roller hockey and others, Benfica has built the biggest fan base in Portugal with an estimated 5.8 million fans, and one of the biggest in the world with an estimated 14 million fans spread across different countries such as Andorra, Angola, Australia, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Cape Verde, Croatia, France, Germany, Guinea-Bissau, Japan, Luxembourg, Macau, Malaysia, Mozambique, Netherlands, Switzerland, Timor-Leste, United Kingdom and the United States. Since 2006, Benfica holds the Guinness World Record for the football club with the most members with a total of 235,000 km², leaving behind Bayern Munich and Barcelona. The club has the 24th highest average attendance of European football clubs, which is the highest in Portugal. Rivalries, Derby de Lisboa. The Derby da Capital is the most important football derby match in Portugal. It is played between the Lisbon teams of Benfica and Sporting. The rivalry originated back in 1907 when 8 Benfica players switched to the Sporting side in search of better working conditions and even luxury. The match is followed worldwide, with the match being transmitted live especially in the former Portuguese colonies. O Clásico. The rivalry between Benfica and FC Porto comes about as Lisbon and Porto are the 2 largest Portuguese cities, respectively. These clubs are 2 of the wealthiest, currently the most successful and influential football teams in Portugal. Records and statistics. Nena Copyright has the most official appearances overall and Luísa Poundo has the most appearances in European matches. User Copyright Bio is the all-time top goal scorer with 474 goals in 440 matches, while Josa Copyright Águias places second with 374 goals in 384 matches, followed by Nena Copyright with 360 goals in 575 matches. Benfica was the first club to win the Primeira Liga without a defeat during the 1972 Euro 73 season and also the first to do it twice in 1977 Euro 78. The club holds the record of 56 matches in Primeira Liga without a defeat from October 24, 1976 to September 1, 1978. In 1972 Euro 73, Benfica won 23 matches in a row and set the Portuguese league record for most consecutive wins. The team finished the season with 58 points in 30 matches, the most ever obtained, and achieved the largest difference ever between champions and runners-up, in a 2 points per win system. The club also holds the Portuguese records of 2 consecutive European Champions Cups, 10 European finals, 33 Primeira Liga, 25 Tour Section de Portugal, 5 Tour Section da Liga, 10 doubles and a unique domestic treble. Benfica holds the European winning streak record of 29 matches. In UEFA Europa League, Benfica has the most goals and wins, and is the only club to have reached 2 finals consecutively, the most recent without any defeat, which is a new record. Crest. Benfica crest is composed of an eagle euro as a symbol of independence, authority and dignity, a euro positioned on top of a shield with the club's colours red and white, the motto e pluribus unum, and the acronym SLB for Sport Lisboa Benfica over a football. Everything superimposed on a bicycle wheel, which was taken from the Grupo Sport Benfica. Emblem evolution. The origin of the crest goes back to 1908 when Sport Lisboa was merged with Grupo Sport Benfica. The crest was modified in 1930 and 1999, the last modification was essentially the repositioning of the eagle. Since 2008, the club has been using a commemorative crest about important football titles in its history by adding stars on top of it. Kit manufacturers and shirt sponsors, stadiums. From 1954 to 2003, Benfica played at the old Estádio da Luz, the largest stadium in Europe and the third largest in the world in terms of capacity at the time. It was demolished and the new stadium was built with a capacity of 65,647 spectators. Since 2003, Benfica has played at the Estádio da Luz, located in Lisbon, Portugal. The new Estádio da Luz hosted several matches of the UEFA Euro 2004, including the final match. On March 20, 2012, the stadium was designated the venue for the 2014 UEFA Champions League final. Museum. On July 26, 2013, the Museu Benfica Euro Cosme de Maia Poundo was opened to the public. Honours. Domestic competitions, Primeira Liga, winners, 1935 a Euro 36, 1936 a Euro 37, 1937 a Euro 38, 1941 a Euro 42, 1942 a Euro 43, 1944 a Euro 45, 1949 a Euro 50, 1954 a Euro 55, 1956 a Euro 57, 1959 a Euro 60, 1960 a Euro 61, 1962 a Euro 63, 1963 a Euro 64, 1964 a Euro 65. 1966 a Euro 67, 1967 a Euro 68, 1968 a Euro 69, 1970 a Euro 71, 1971 a Euro 72, 1972 a Euro 73, 1974 a Euro 75, 1975 a Euro 76, 1976 a Euro 77, 1980 a Euro 81, 1982 a Euro 83, 1983 a Euro 84, 1986 a Euro 87, 1988 a Euro 89, 1990 a Euro 91, 1993 a Euro 94, 2004 a Euro 05, 2009 a Euro 10, 2013 a Euro 14, runners-up, 1943 a Euro 44, 1945 a Euro 46, 1946 a Euro 47, 1947 a Euro 48, 1948 a Euro 49, 1951 a Euro 52, 1952 a Euro 53, 1955 a Euro 56, 1958 a Euro 59, 1965 a Euro 66, 1969 a Euro 70, 1973 a Euro 74, 1977 a Euro 78, 1978 a Euro 79, 1981 a Euro 82, 1985 a Euro 86, 1987 a Euro 88, 1989 a Euro 90, 1991 a Euro 92, 1992 a Euro 93, 1995 a Euro 96, 1997 a Euro 98, 2002 a Euro 03, 2003 a Euro 04, 2010 a Euro 11, 2011 a Euro 12, 2012 a Euro 13, Tour Section A de Portugal, winners, 1939 a Euro 40, 1942 a Euro 43, 1943 a Euro 44, 1948 a Euro 49, 1950 a Euro 51, 1951 a Euro 52, 1952 a Euro 53, 1954 a Euro 55, 1956 a Euro 57, 1958 a Euro 59, 1961 a Euro 62, 1963 a Euro 64, 1968 a Euro 69, 1969 a Euro 70, 1971 a Euro 72, 1979 a Euro 80, 1980 a Euro 81, 1982 a Euro 83, 1984 a Euro 85, 1985 a Euro 86, 1986 a Euro 87, 1992 a Euro 93, 1995 a Euro 96, 2003 a Euro 04, 2013 a Euro 14, runners-up, 1938 a Euro 39, 1957 a Euro 58, 1964 a Euro 65, 1970 a Euro 71, 1973 a Euro 74, 1974 a Euro 75, 1988 a Euro 89, 1996 a Euro 97, 2004 a Euro 05, 2012 a Euro 13, Tour Section A da Liga, winners, 2008 a Euro 09, 2009 a Euro 10, 2010 a Euro 11, 2011 a Euro 12, 2013 a Euro 14, Supertour Section A Car Sendido de Oliveira, winners, 1980, 1985, 1989, 2005, runners-up, 1981, 1983, 1984, 1986, 1987, 1991, 1993, 1994, 1996, 2004, 2010, Campeonato de Portugal, winners, 1929 a Euro 30, 1930 a Euro 31, 1934 a Euro 35, runners-up, 1937 a Euro 38, European competitions. European Cup/UEFA Champions League, winners, 1960 a Euro 61, 1961 a Euro 62, runners-up, 1962 a Euro 63, 1964 a Euro 65, 1967 a Euro 68, 1987 a Euro 88, 1989 a Euro 90, UEFA Cup/UEFA Europa League, runners-up, 1982 a Euro 83, 2012 a Euro 13, 2013 a Euro 14, worldwide competitions, Intercontinental Cup, runners-up, 1961, 1962, players. Current squad, as of July 16, 2014. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan, note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Co-ownerships: the following are players who have been transferred to another team with Benfica retaining the right of participation to their contracts. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Retired numbers. In 2004 a Euro 05 season, President Luís Filipe Vieira said no player will wear the number 29 shirt since the club decided to retire it in memory of Mikla Cubed's for copyright R. Personnel, current technical staff. Management. Sports. Media. Since 1943, Benfica publishes a weekly newspaper called O Benfica, which is the oldest sports newspaper in Portugal. With globalization, Benfica has developed many ways of communicating with its millions of fans across the world. The most important of these projects is the club's own television channel BTV, which started in 2008 as the first Portuguese sports club TV channel. Besides that, the club offers to its associates a bi-monthly magazine called Marstica and maintains a strong presence on the internet with its own multi-language website, which includes a social network called SLB Fans, and also with accounts on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, Instagram, among other websites. The club is involved in social intervention with funder £fikheth Benfica. Finances. Sport Lisboa Benfica Futebol, SAD was created by Joe liʒʻboethv on February 10, 2000 with an initial equity of £75 million. There were 5 major reasons for creating an autonomous entity to manage the professional football team: participation in professional competitions, both domestic or international. Development of football players. Exploration of TV rights, both on closed or open channels. Management of image rights of the players. Exploitation of the Benfica brand by the professional football team. Benfica SAD entered the PSI 20 on May 21, 2007 with an initial stock value of $5 million shares. On June 15, 2007, Joe Berardo launched an initial public offering of Benfica SAD for a $3.50 a share. On December 23, 2009, Benfica SAD, after a vote of its members, decided to increase the equity to $115 million by absorbing Benfiquista DO, SA. The initial equity of $75 million was by then completely lost, when the SAD was in balance sheet insolvency. This increase in equity means that 7,999,999 more shares are on the stock market. Benfica valued them at $5 each. They were admitted to the stock market on June 14, 2012. In Portugal, companies in the stock market index are obligated to provide information to its shareholders and CMVM, and every semester a more detailed report is published. In 2009 €10, Benfica SAD posted losses of €11.3 million, an improvement from the nearly a €30 million loss in 2008 €09. In 2010 €11, Benfica continued in the red, posting losses of a €7.6 million, even after the sale of David Luiz to Chelsea. In 2011 €12, SAD posted losses of €11.7 million, after earning approximately a €21 million from the Champions League and selling Fabio Contrapaundo and Roberto for approximately a €38 million. In 2012 €13, SAD posted losses of a €10.3 million and generated a club record of €51.5 million with the sales of ʻfikheth and Axel Witsel for a total revenue of more than a €145 million. See also: Deloitte Football Money League, list of unligated association football clubs, European Club Association, references. Further reading: Corrua da Mana Pound. Benfica Centenarium 100 Nomes 100 Histórias Reais, Centenarium Benfica 100 Names 100 Stories. Portugal, Pesca Portuguesa, SAISBN A 972-99026-1-5. External links: official website, SL Benfica at Primeira Liga, SL Benfica at UEFA.